Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, debt slaves, servants, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks, consumers, shopaholics. I'm useful idiot. Welcome, and let's go to the good old USA. And as I often say, the not so good old USA. In this case, we have a retail contraction in the United States going on in 2016 as well. And I did a video in 2015 that talked about the 2015 retail collapse, and we continue to have this ripple through the economy, although it's certainly not as big a story as it has been in the past. But I assure you, things are still continuing along that way. So there's more job losses, and of course, when you see this kind of carnage, you once again realize that the unemployment numbers and the economic numbers and everything else couldn't possibly be right when we have this kind of slaughter going on. So one of the big ones, of course, recently is Kmart announcing that it's going to close 68 stores. So that's a big one. But we also have a lot of other smaller ones that add up to real numbers when you put them together. Aeropostal and 800 teen clothing stores just this last month preparing Chapter 11 bankruptcy after 3 years of losses. Eastern Mountain Sports just announced that they are going to close 56 stores. That includes Bob's Stores and Sports Chalet. Pacific Sunwear of California is closing 600 stores and filing for Chapter 11. Sports Authority filed for Chapter 11. They're closing 140 out of 450 stores. And in February 2016, Wet Seal filed for Chapter 11. In October 2015, American Apparel filed for Chapter 11 after 7-year losses. So that's another thing to look at when you see all these closings too, is a lot of them are closing after multiple years of losses, and a lot of them, the losses have been just this last 6, 7, 8 years since the economic collapse, and they've never regained their market share, and also consumers are not returning, even though they try to say they have. Of course, we've seen retail numbers collapse, including the last holiday season, which was very disappointing. But going back into 2015, we also had September 2015, Quicksilver filed for bankruptcy. June 2015, Anna's Linens filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. April 2015, the time-honored Fredericks of Hollywood, they've been around for 50, 60, 75 years, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. February 2015, Radio Shack filed for bankruptcy. February 2015, Cache filed for bankruptcy. And so a lot of these are very well-known companies, and they're just disappearing from the map. January 2015, Body Central Corporation closed 265 stores, and then we also have Fiat Chrysler announced 1,300 workers being fired in Michigan. Credit Suisse, 2,000 jobs. As we've noticed too, there's been a massive carnage in the financial industry and in the tech industry and in the banking industry. So if you include those, tens of thousands of employees being laid off by banks all over the world right now. So Credit Suisse is just one example of that. Sears Kmart closing another 50 stores, as I mentioned before. And then all the indicators are that there's going to be continued carnage in the retail sector. The inventories are built up, and the exports, imports are down all over the world, and the Baltic Dry Index is down, and transportation is down. And of course, they can just cook their books, and then all this will turn around instantly. But in the meantime, all these factors are adding up to a very not pretty situation out there. In last March, commercial bankruptcies jumped 25% from 2 years ago. So a lot of this commercial real estate collapse and a lot of this retail correction and contraction that continues to go on is finally showing up in some big numbers. First quarter, we had 9,208 bankruptcies, and then also to add fuel to the fire, a new report came out that suggested that 800 mall stores need to close in order to kind of have the productivity and the sort of business and profits that they had before the collapse, going back to 2007. 800 more mall stores to go, and so that seems to be fairly accurate, because you look at the oversaturation of these gargantuan retail sectors. A lot of this still has to go. The recovery is not here, and this is just another indicator of that. So I'll attach my video below from the previous video about retail carnage from the previous year below, and we can see the continuing trends. But never mind that. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. I'm useful to you. Don't you be one too.